Hey, what's going on? I'm Keith here from Sports Vibes TV, and tonight it's a special Sunday Knicks stream. And as always, joined by my guy Stephen Fox. Foxy, how's everything with you?
All is good. Salute to you. Salute to the chat. Salute to the SV Nation. We're going to be talking Knicks basketball tonight, and may get a little intense, folks.
That's the tone we're going with, Foxy.
I'm trying to keep it together, folks.
I hear you, Foxy. We're gonna talk about this game. The Knicks lost one tonight. Today, earlier today, and we did have some positives though. I won't say it was 100% negative. Our guy Grimes went off, set off a rookie record, 7 3-pointers. How did you feel, Foxy, about the game? Did you think heading into the game, because RJ Barrett not available, Obi Toppin not available, Burks, congratulations to him.
Congratulations,
his child wasn't available. So heading into this game, did you expect us to come out with a victory? Did you think this was a game we could actually win?
No. I did not think we could win it. I did not think we probably could win it if those three guys were there. But I just wanted us to put up the best, effort as possible, and couldn't ask any more from Grimes. And I'm proud, folks. If you look back at the discussions and the shows with Keith and I, whether after the draft and stuff, made the comments that, hey, Grimes is an elite 3-point shooter. He shot 40% in college. He shot 40% in summer league. He shot 40% in preseason. And today he only shot 53.8%, 7 for 13. Just a phenomenal. He shot over 52% from field goal percentage, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals, 5 turnovers, which I'm not worried about at all. That's a rookie. He doesn't know the other guy's moves, so I'm not upset about the 5 turnovers. Those will come down once he gets into the groove. But his defense, his intensity, his intelligence. He made a couple of passes that you're like, wow, man, very nice feel for the game. And this is his first
guard background.
Yeah, so I couldn't ask more. Grimes, gorgeous stroke. Really one of the big positives today.
Yeah, I love the way he looked out there on defense too. Coming into the season, one of the things we were worried about is how was he going to look guarding bigger players in the NBA, and I think he looked solid against Chris Middleton. There were some moments where Chris kind of took him and did abuse him at times, but once again, he's a rookie, and I think he did get up under him defensively, and with the shot falling, I think this was definitely a breakout game, a breakout moment for Quentin Grimes. I kind of feel a little bit disappointed, though, hearing Tibbs, what he said after the game. Did you hear what some of the things Tibbs had to say about Grimes?
I did,
but it's one game, it's not really a big deal or something of that nature.
Yeah, what do you mean
at the record for 3-pointers as a rookie, and you're saying that doesn't automatically give him a little bit more minutes in the rotation? I don't get him. The rotation, like, in this game, why were we only running with an 8-man rotation when we're dealing with players that aren't available? We're already short staff. Why don't we open up the rotations a little bit and allow other players to get in there? We didn't get to see Sims. We didn't see McBride until it was seconds left in the game. And I think that's something that you can say with Tibbs is he's just too stubborn at times. This was a game where we should have went deeper down that bench.
Yeah, I was saying to my wife that I think I got to talk to Keith about getting foam bricks that have SV Nation on it so I could throw it at the TV. I was so upset. Meaning 4 minutes to go. We're losing down by 15 points. What the hell do you have Rose in? And Noel, why isn't Deuce in there? So I'm like saying, what is something serious has to happen, that an injury has to happen? We need D Rose in the worst way, folks. For this season, for us to come back. We were 12-15 at this point last year, so things can happen. Although it was a 72-game season, I'm trying to keep it positive and stuff. But Tibbs, you got to help us. Why aren't you? Noel Keith. Did he look like he doesn't know what the hell he's doing out there? What is going on at all? So I'm like saying, why isn't Sims getting some burn? And I'm saying, why don't you have Deuce in there? The game's out of hand. You see it already. Rose has come back just a short time ago from some ankle stuff. Give him the night off. Let Deuce this is it was a perfect game for Deuce to get some burn, and you're giving Grimes all this, but the comments you meant about after the post, he did the same shit with Obi the other night.
Yep.
Obi had the game of his life, and Begley said to him, do you think he made a case for more minutes? And no, it was like real quick. It was like, no, not at all. And that, he has a lot of work to do. And, we have to put in a zone basically saying that he can't shoot and in that he made defensive mistakes. But all the rest of us said, hey, the energy, yeah. I'm the first to say, you've been hearing me say, hey, man, the kid's shooting 20% from mid-range and 20% from three, but the energy and the stuff that he brings to this team at critical times and his plus minus don't lie, that he's doing some positive things, and I really feel strongly that the other elements will come together, but you're not, so he goes out of his way to protect Randle. And
out of his way. Even some of the things he said in that press conference, protecting Randle, made some good decisions out there. Where he had 7 turnovers. What are you talking about? Thibs be watching the same game?
Yeah. The body language. Myself, I think everyone in the SV Nation, the Knicks fandom, Helen Keller would say, "What the hell is going on with this guy?" His body language before even the tip off. Man, something is going on with this guy, and he's a quality guy. You can't make second team all NBA folks without having talent, but we'll get into it tonight, folks.
Yeah. So another young player that we're going to get into, Foxy, is Kevin Knox. Kevin Knox came out and he surprised me. I mean, he's still doing some bonehead plays out there, gave up a couple buckets. There was one play, he was, guarding the 3-point line, and then he, for some reason, decided to go chase a ghost that was standing at the corner 3 and allowed his man to raise up and shoot the shot. But, luckily he missed. Outside of those moments, I think Kevin Knox was solid. He was showing the ability to knock down the 3. He's also making an argument to enter the rotation. I know that Tibbs went to a small ball lineup against the Phoenix Suns, and he used Julius Randle and Kevin Knox together in a lineup. And I didn't think it was just in garbage minutes. I think he was actually trying something. You've mentioned Obi not knocking down his shots. I think when we look to find a zone buster with those small ball lineups, I think Kevin Knox should get a look. The way he looked confident with his shot, he didn't look hesitant like some of the other players out there on the court. I think Kevin Knox made a big statement in this game, whether it be, more minutes on this team or potentially auditioning for a move elsewhere. I think this was a solid performance from Kevin Knox, and hopefully Tibbs won't be hard-headed and give him some more minutes moving forward, especially if he's going to perform like he did tonight.
Wait a second. I'm sorry. I thought you said Tibbs is not going to be hard-headed. Yeah, I agree with you with Knox. The kid can shoot. He can always shoot. And he just needs the opportunity to shoot. And especially from 3. There was, like you said, maybe he doesn't have reps and you get upset. Like, kid, you're shooting. You have a great shot, but you're missing your defensive assignment. But hopefully if he got a few more things to burn, that he could rectify, fix those, resolve those issues real quick, or have, work on that. But our friend JD and I were talking during a game, and he goes, what my biggest fear is? What? That we're going to give up on this guy. He's going to go someplace else and he's going to blossom. You can't, he has prototype size. He can shoot. And obviously we saw a couple of plays where he didn't shoot the 3 and took a couple dribbles like, hey, man, you have a beautiful open mid-range, but he didn't take it. He went a few steps further. But, hey, I couldn't ask any more from Knox today. He was ready. Tibbs did say he's like the first one in every night, every day in the gym. And so he's been working hard and he can shoot. So we've been talking about spacing. We've been talking about stretch 4 or 5. And you know what? I like Luka Shamanik or whatever, but Knox should be given an opportunity before Luka. And, he's put in the time. He's a higher pick. And it would be prudent for us to give him more opportunities. We've been looking around. We've been talking Cam Reddish. We're saying, hey, if this guy can shoot, let him shoot, and hopefully the other elements of his game could come together. But how many people can shoot like this kid? Not a lot, man. He's an elite, when he gets going, and especially if somebody gets him in his spots, he can be very dangerous.
Yeah, I was shocked to see a performance like this from Kevin Knox. I really thought his days with us were numbered. I mean, they still may be numbered if you listen to the way Tibbs talks, but it's promising. If he can go out there and continue to be confident with his shot, he's going to carve himself a role in this team, especially if you look at Evan Fournier, who continue to struggle here with the New York Knicks. I mean, at some point, we're going to have to remove him from the starting lineup because he's not giving us anything out there on defense. And when he's shooting like he did tonight, 2 of 8 from the field, 1 of 7 from the 3-point line, only had 6 points. He's really a double negative. Well, that's a double negative as a positive, right?
Yeah, I wish he was math.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
It's just he's a negative on both sides of the court. So it's tough to see we have young players like this that are hungry, but Tibbs continues to play these veterans that really aren't giving us much. You mentioned Noel earlier, just mentioned Evan Fournier's stats. It's frustrating as a Knicks fan right now.
You want to get into Evan now, or you want to wait, or?
Yeah, you can talk about Evan now.
Well, let's, if you don't mind, I'd like to share some of our discussions. That
feel free.
Just that people, I don't think Fournier and Randle have issues, man. They have issues. Game after game, Keith and I have been commenting whether bad screens on purpose by Randle. Hey, that bullet pass today, he knew for damn sure that Fournier, that was too hot for him to handle. Mm-hmm. Hey, Fournier is a little, our buddy George into the Knicks verse did a fantastic video yesterday or the other day, and one of the segments that he focused on was with 6 seconds left against Toronto. On the inbound, it was 8 seconds, but by the time Randle got the ball from Rose on the inbound, he wouldn't pass it to Fournier, who was all alone for an open 3, and it led to a turnover. And then the other game, you said to me, hey, Foxy, did you see Fournier make the steal? But Randle was right next to him. He wouldn't want to, he didn't pass to, and it led to another turnover. So you know what? This is not working. We have to immediately put Fournier on the second team. We need a starting lineup of D Rose so he can start every game. He could start third quarters. We talked about it has to be 24 minutes. We have to minutes manage this guy so we could have him, but let him start, let him be the third quarter, and let him be our closer and the minutes in between there. But RJ at the 2, Burks put him back to his natural spot at the 3, Randle at the 4, and whomever is not injured, or whether it's Noel or Mitch or whatever at the 5 for the day. And I have no problem if Obi's there, depending if we want to play small ball and stuff like that. But we have to split up Fournier and Randle immediately. We saw them having argument at the end of a game already, or at the end of a half, about defensive assignments. You've heard Randle in press conferences. They're not mixing well. So they got to yank that immediately, and maybe, they made an investment in this guy. It's not working out here. First of all, my God, whether it was Grayson today blowing past him, his defense is just brutal. You want to root for the guy, but he's absolutely terrible. So put him on the second team, let him get back his confidence. And, in the beginning of the season, we're saying, hey, folks, this was a great acquisition, that he shoots 55% from corner threes. He's not in corner threes. We're like, what is going on? I didn't think, for a guy that's been in the league this long, and also a shooter, that you think muscle memory, that he doesn't have to, he's been shooting for so long that he's going to still be a good shooter. And you're like, yeah, what the hell is happening here? So put him on the second team, get him away from Randle, let him try to eat with the second team guys. And maybe defending a second team guy won't be as bad as going against elite guys on first teams, but split them up immediately.
Yeah, I was not a fan of the Evan Fournier signing initially. I knew defense was going to be an issue. I just didn't know it was going to be this bad. I mean, he's consistently been a weak link. We thought originally it was Kimba, and you take Kimba out of the equation, then you only have one minus defender out there on the court. But even now, with just him on the court being the minus defender, I mean, today Derrick Rose isn't the greatest defender, so there were some additional challenges for that unit. But still, I think as an individual defender, he is someone that teams can attack consistently, and they can and they
Blow
can
past them, and once
get
you
good
blow
looks.
past them, you're
You can
toast.
get good looks over and over again. So I agree with you. Evan Fournier does have to be removed from. Oh, I turn my Xbox on. Does have to be removed from the starting lineup. But I would go a step further and park him next to Kimba. And when December 15th comes around, we'll talk about that a little bit later on in the show. But I would look to move on from him. Maybe he can find greener pastures elsewhere, because I just don't see the fit with this team, even if we do demote him to the second unit. But now, talking about players that have been going between units, let's talk about Mitchell Robinson and his performance tonight. What did you see from Mitch? He was 4 or 5 from the field, 1 of 2 from the free throw line. He had 8 rebounds, 9 points. He was minus 14. Once again, he went on his Instagram and posted up his plus minus. I guess he was trying to save face, because he did it again after
Yeah,
the
I
following
know.
loss where he was a positive. So I guess he had to do it now when he was a minus. So he did it again. So I guess not a move I would do, but if you want to be consistent and give him an applause for that, feel free. So how did you feel about Mitchell Robinson's performance tonight?
Yeah,
Today.
before I get to the performance, though, we did talk about, we were hoping from a maturity standpoint that we weren't going to see, whether tweets or Instagram posts, that you're like, come on, man, there's other things you should be focusing on. And one of them is, on one of our pre-games, George was talking about 6 or 7 minutes, and he's gassed. but JD pulled out the stopwatch and literally said, no, it's 4 minutes. So he literally gets gassed at this stage. He has lost weight, and it's noticeable. He's not as, that he has lost the weight. But wow, you can only get a 4 or 5 minute stint out of him. He played okay. Nothing that, rattled, like, oh my God. He played an okay game for me.
Yeah, I think he was much better in the second half than he was in the first half. Saw a little bit more energy from him. And I've been disappointed in Mitchell Robinson. Coming into this season, it was a big year for him. This is the year where he has to perform in order to get paid. And I wanted him to be, I still want him to develop into that franchise center for the New York Knicks. But you have to be honest with his performance. He really is not coming out and being a difference maker every single game. This was one of the games where he really wasn't a difference maker. He was okay. He was solid, but I expect more from Mitchell Robinson. Heading into this season, said he wanted to be a defensive player of the year candidate, or if not winner. And I don't think, not that I don't think, he has not lived up to those expectations. And then you add the fact that he has little to no offensive game, and it's going to be a pretty big question as to what this team is going to do with Mitchell Robinson, especially as we get to the trade deadline, because I don't know if this team wants to lose him for nothing. And if it doesn't seem like this team sees him in their long-term futures, it'll be interesting to see what they decide to do with him. I mean, there were talks about us potentially moving on from him in prior off seasons that never materialized. I want to see what the front office decides to do with me.
Yeah. And he was going against Bobby Portis today. It wasn't like he was going against a big 5. Yeah. So he was really going against a power forward. And so I thought he was going to, obviously he has no offensive game and stuff, but he had his normal, 8 rebounds.
I think it was 8 and 5 defensive, 3 offensive.
Exactly. Yep. So, so it was
no blocks.
No blocks. So there wasn't any intimidation there. And, so it was just a yawn. It was a normal game for Mitch. It wasn't explode, but to his defense, there wasn't anybody setting up for lobs and things like that either.
Yeah, there's nobody there to really help him out. I mean, I still don't understand the benching decision, because you look at Nerlens Noel and what he gave us tonight. I don't think he did much of anything out there. From what I saw, Bobby Portis was out there cooking him. Every time I saw Noel on Bobby Portis was getting a nice look at the basket and finishing. So
that and me saying I wish we still had Bobby Portis on this team. Talking about spacing.
5. And if you look how much he's getting paid compared to what Nerlens Noel is,
what's a 2-year $9 million?
Yeah,
steal of the century.
I said, what in the world is going on here? And why are we paying Nerlens Noel $10 million annual?
Yeah. It's a crime, folks. It's a crime. So
had me heated when they mentioned that figure, because it wasn't in my mind on the top of my head what Bobby Portis was getting paid. And then they mentioned that, and to see them go head to head and Nerlens Noel getting abused out there.
getting abused, but also at the same time, like, okay, he's getting abused. Tibbs, bring in Sims. Bring in Sims. This is a game for development. You know, you brought in Grimes. I'm hoping that you'll bring in Deuce, which he didn't. Okay, but bring in Sims. He's big and everything. Didn't do it. Didn't do it. And I'm like, I just don't understand this guy. I don't understand his rotations. I don't understand him not using the critical times for development. This year is not only about winning, it's about developing the kids, developing, and it was the perfect opportunity, but he didn't do it. And like I said, him playing Rose and Noel in garbage time down by 15 points, that's a crime again. I just don't know what the hell's going through this guy's mind.
Yeah, Foxy, we got 120 in chat currently. Want to give a quick shout out. Let's see, we got B. Simmons in chat. He's saying Fournier has shown his contract is untradeable without including a first. I hope that is not the case, because I don't want to. We are collecting all these assets. I don't want to have to then use them to kind of undo terrible moves from the front office. That's counterproductive. So let's hope we don't have to do that. Let's see. Anybody you want to shout out, Foxy?
Always the original DSJ, the good DSJ, Delano Steele Jr. Special shout out to my friend. As always, appreciate your support. A great mod for us, along with Big Task at Hand and Lex the Destroyer and Boost Mobile and so many. I don't know if Justin L's here, one of my good friend. Shout out to Geraldine MacGyver, as always. I hope it was well with you and the family. Sincere, the genius. You can take a few.
Yeah, Raphael Burgess, he's saying there are some deals you get when you win a chip. The rich get richer. I guess those are the deals you get. I guess he's having a conversation in the chat. A Big Task, you mentioned him. He's saying if you love Sports Vibes TV, make sure you hit that like button. Facts. We're already at 50 likes. Thank you guys for the support. We appreciate it. I know we're discussing a loss, but there are a lot of positives that we did see out there in the game. Grimes, one of them. Knox, one of them. Some would argue Quick being a positive, him being a point guard out there and being Foxy. I see your face. I don't think you like that one. You don't think Quick was a positive? I mean, his shot wasn't falling, but I like the way he was running the offense with that second unit. So I'll chop that up as a positive. Let me know what you think, Foxy, about Quick's performance tonight.
Just meaning his shooting, man. What's he? I think he's shooting like 25% over the last 5-6 games. Yeah, but you know what? I'm like saying to myself, I think Deuce could set somebody up just as well with him. He's pissing me off, man. He came in here supposed to be this shooter, and he's not. I don't understand it. So yeah, his defense is picked up, and he was setting up the guys okay, but nothing that that would say, my God, this is the second coming of a point guard. And if I really think that if the front office and everybody really thought he was the point guard, they would already made him said, all right, you're the point guard, go from that. But I don't think he's there. Like I said, I still think he's a microwave off the bench with point guard or playmaking abilities, but I still don't see him as a playmaker. In fact, a couple of times today, I thought he did not hit the guy people that were open. I'm saying hit that guy, and he either looked him off, or sometimes I don't even think he sees him. I don't even think he looks him off. So yeah, he played all right, but I don't think he has the vision that I would want in a point guard.
Yeah, so just to go over quick stats, he was 4 of 10 tonight, 1 of 6 from the 3-point line. Speaks to him being poor, having a poor shooting performance. He had 5 assists, only had 1 turnover, and he had 11 points in total. So yeah, Quick has been somewhat frustrating. The shot has come and gone throughout this season. Hopefully you would like him to be a lot more consistent with his play. But the only thing I would say is there's been a lot of flux with the lineup. Players being moved from the starters to the bench and vice versa. So I understand if players are finding it difficult to get into rhythm. So hopefully Tibbs finally settles on a rotation that everybody can get some rhythm in, taking players out that are really type of stymieing the offense. And then we might see Quick have a better shooting outing. I agree. There were some passes that he missed, but I think for the most part, Quick was solid.
It was a positive. He hit a mid-range jumper for a change. That was really sweet. And I'm like, beautiful. Wasn't a floater. That's all I've been asking. Proper technique. that's a shot that should be a mid-range jumper, and he hit it. So I'm like, I like to see more. So yeah, there was positives, but at this stage, after he's not a rookie any longer. I want to see that shot, like you said. He's a streaky shooter. I don't want a streaky shooter. I want a consistent shooter. And I'm just saying to myself, you know what? I think he's better at the shooting guard, but Grimes is a better consistent shooter than Quickley, and he plays a different type of defense than Quickley. So I know Tibbs loves this guy, but I think Grimes showed today that he's I think more of a pure shooting guard than Quickley. I think Quickley is valuable, like I said, off the bench for scoring when a shot falls.
When a shot falls, I hear you, Foxy. Got a few more people in chat. We just hit 129. B. Simmons is saying Mario Hezonja is looking like Luka compared to Evan Fournier. That was a good one.
Shout out to Paris Duggar, as always, one of the greats, man. Support, generous, just wonderful. John Talento, one of the great mods in the Knick fandom. Hope all is well, John, with you and the family. Like you said, Raphael Burgess before.
Big Task is saying like. Keep the likes coming. Let's see what else we have. Hector Gaston says, can we give Randle a break? Like rest him for the next 6 games. Let him get his strength up. He might need some physical and mental rest. He definitely needs some rest. It looks like the moment is a little bit too big for him. But we'll talk about him a little bit more later. Is there anything else you want to talk about in this game, Foxy? Did we touch on Noel? I think we touched on Noel briefly as to why.
Yeah, that he looked absolutely. He looked absolutely terrible. He's been looking terrible, and also 3 times on the deck. Every time you blink at this guy is on the deck. So give Sims a chance, or go small. I'd rather put Knox at the 5, put Obi at the 5, but his shot blocking, it's just he's just so limited in what he can do for a team now.
Yeah, and yet we're paying him almost starting center money, which to me is mind blowing. But let's get into Julius Randle and his performance tonight. So he was 2 of 9 from the field, 1 of 5 from the 3-point line. He had 8 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists, but he had 7 turnovers as well. So Foxy, let me know what you think about Julius Randle's performance tonight. What did you see out there from him?
I don't understand whether this game or last game only taking 9 shots. We're missing 3 key players. This is when, as a leader, you take the team on your back and say, I got to score, I got to facilitate, I got to lead. And almost like saying 9 shots, you know what? I'll sabotage I'll show you. I won't shoot and see how well you do. You'll appreciate me when I don't do that. I'm speculating, obviously, but how do you only take 9 shots when you are supposed to be, the man on this team, the leader, the number one option? That's hurting us. So, and the turnovers, and some of the turnovers were like lackadaisical passes, or what the hell were you thinking? It's really upsetting. To his defense, though, the front office really let him down. Who did they put around him to make him better? Fournier? Is that the big acquisition? Kemba, bringing back what did they do to make him better? We've talked about Chicago. We've talked about other teams, that, they do all they can to help their player. Our front office didn't help Randle at all. So I have issues with Randle, but at the same time, like I prefaced our conversation, the guy made 2nd team All NBA. He's still 20-10-5. So if we could harness that in any way, it would be positive. But I don't know if he can be that player. I don't know if he can be that player for us. And you had a wonderful analogy, privately, us talking about Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, that he goes in San Antonio and he's doing facilitating and he's making other guys better. And then in another game, he goes 3-point happy. You just don't know what Julius you're going to get from game to game. And that's upsetting, because I thought the 20-10-5 was going to be consistent. And, and it's still, he had, 10 rebounds tonight. He had 7 assists, but 8 points on 9 shots, shooting 1 from 5 from 3. It's very, very disappointing. I thought there was he showed leadership last year, and this year he's showing just the opposite. And he looks aggravated. I don't know what's going on in his head. And I have some issues with the coaching, and you'll let me know when you want to get into that part about it. But I don't think, he's not the player that I thought. And you said something to me also that was really deep, and you don't mind if I share that season last year, set that fantastic season he had last year, set our franchise further back than it did move us forward. And obviously, again, coupled with the free agent signings that we had, or not, the lousy signings that we had, but him having that spectacular season, us signing him to that contract, and it's really, really difficult. We're only a few days away from it, and he signed an extension, so you can't trade a player for 6 months after they trade that. So he's not eligible to be traded, I believe, until February 3rd, if at all. I don't know who would want to take him at this point. So I think it was, like I said to you, I never thought that we signed Randle for the right purpose. I thought we signed them as a safe face because we couldn't sign KD and Kyrie. So we wanted to show that we were in the free agent, and we signed the guy that, if you look statistically, the differential between his offensive rating and his defensive rating for his whole career has been negative. So he's not really a positive player on the court. He's the type of guy that'll get stats, but he's going to be on a losing team most of the time.
Yeah, it's not really going to lead to a lot of winning. And I understand when you say the front office really hasn't done a lot to help him, especially this season. But if you look at what he was doing out there tonight, I mean, he was missing open looks. He was turning down some shots that were right around the cup when he should have been much more aggressive. So I'm not going to sit here and say, the front office, well, I'll agree with you. Like I said, the front office should have done more. But at the end of the day, when he's out there on the court, it's up to Julius Randle to be an impact player. And tonight, he was not that for us. This season, he has not been that type of impact player. So, Foxy, we are going to get into Julius Randle and his play throughout the season. But I did get a super chat from B. Simmons that I want to get to before we move ahead. He's saying, since front office won't trade Randle, the best thing to do with him is lower his minutes to 25, 30 a night. Obi has shown he is better than Randle. I won't go that far, say he's better than Randle just yet, but he has been more, I think, impactful to our success, especially with the energy he's given the second unit and giving the players out there on the court with him. So I do agree that Randle should get a little bit less minutes, and Obi a little bit more. But we'll talk about that a little bit in detail later on in the show. Foxy, any thoughts?
No, exactly what you were saying. The only thing that hit me was, if you look back at his season last year, he was successful because he had a subservient point guard named Elfrid Payton. So it looks like for Randle, I don't know if a real point guard who is, that needs the ball could work with a Randle who needs the ball, whether he'd hurt that point guard or wouldn't allow that point guard to be the best they could be. And last year, so if we're have this, a stranglehold with this contract, maybe we have to have a subservient point guard that basically plays great defense, brings the ball up, kicks it over to Randle, who then runs the offense, and then stands at the perimeter. And if they converge on him, maybe he'll take a 3-point shot and hope, and also they're out at the perimeter to maybe stop transition, help on the transition defense. But I can't see the way he plays us getting a point guard that a traditional or a point guard like a CP, Chris Paul and others. I don't think they could be Chris Paul and others working with Randle if you let Randle be Randle. Randle has to conform, or with this contract, maybe we have to conform to Randle. And you know what? Pardon me. We do have somebody on this team already. His name is Deuce McBride. He can play defense. He can dribble the ball up. He has excellent handles. He can kick the ball into Randle and let Randle run the offense. And if Randle kicks it out, he can shoot a hell of a lot better than Peyton from three. And he and he can hang out and help us cut down on fast break points. So please, Tibbs, do some. So this is our reality. We're going to have that type of point guard as long as we have Randle. If Randle's going to be, the high usage and the offense is going to run through him, we're going to have to, as a point forward, we're going to have a different type of point guard, one that is focused on defense and, that can hit threes and do the other things.
See, but that's the thing, though. I don't think that's a play style that's conducive to winning basketball.
I'm with you, but what the hell do we do with this guy? He's an albatross. What do we do?
It's on Tibbs. Tibbs has to say, yo, Randle, this is not how we're going to run. I said it, was it the pregame stream where I said Tibbs is an enabler? We heard it, what was it, the out-of-bound play where Tibbs goes and screams out, ISO, and it goes straight to Julius Randle, like 20 feet, 18 feet from the basket. That's Tibbs enabling him to play that brand of basketball. We need to get the ball out of his hands and allow Derrick Rose and if it's going to be Emmanuel Quickley in the second unit or if it's going to be Deuce in the second unit, allow them to bring the ball up and get the offense started. We don't need anybody out there to be a point forward out there. We have point guards on this team in a Derrick Rose and hopefully in a Deuce McBride. Also, I think Quick can man that role. You think otherwise? I think that we have players that can do that,
I'm with you. And I think you nailed it, that he's an enabler. I actually thought him screaming at ISO, by the time the ball was thrown in by Rosie, there was only 6 seconds left on the shot clock. So you really do have to go ISO. There really wasn't a lot of time for him.
It's the play that they ran in order to do it.
I know. I'm with you. But at the same time, it's like I said, and from the video that George showed, the play, though, was Fournier was all alone for a three-pointer. He should have kicked it out. And those are the decision-making that we're saying, that this is the guy that you can't have a successful franchise if the person that is running your offense makes poor decisions, has, a questionable IQ, and loses his emotions and stuff like that. So it's not a good recipe for success. That's for damn sure.
And so we're talking about Julius Randle, and I wanted to just talk about Julius and his play throughout the season and just try to get a better understanding as to why he's struggling so far. So if you look, I was able to pull up some of his stats from last year just to see how he was shooting out there on the court. I've got the 3 points, his mid-range, how his percentages in the paint, non-restricted, and also in the restricted area. And one thing that really jumps out to me is you can see the big drop in his shooting percentages from both 3-point and the mid-range. He was shooting 42% from the mid-range last season. He's only shooting 30% from mid-range this season. You look at the 3-pointers, he was shooting 41% from three last year. He's only shooting 33% from three this season, and he's shooting just about the same amount of threes. So if you look at his stats elsewhere, he's pretty much identical. Assists are somewhat the same, rebounds are somewhat the same. It's his efficiency out there on the court that's really dropped some of his points per game numbers. So Foxy, what have you seen from Julius Randle that can kind of explain why he's been slumping so far?
Bad part of it is I don't know if he's slumping from three. I think last year was the anomaly. If you look at the 5 years prior to the 41% last year, actually it was around 29% if you're rounding off. So he's shooting a little better than that. But I thought, and we touched on that early this year in pre-games, that one of our concerns was that 3-point shooting an anomaly, because his past has always been much lower than that. And I think that's the truth. But the key part is mid-range is where he should live. We saw last year, and we mentioned it, that one of his key moves is getting the ball to the left of the key and dribbling to his right, even though he's a lefty, across the thing and doing that little fadeaway mid-range, and it worked beautifully for him. He doesn't do it much anymore. And so I think, that's where he could eat. You don't see him posting up. You don't see him using that physicality. And that, again, goes to your Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, that, pardon me, when Kemba was here, he averaged 7 drives per game. When Kemba left, for a short time, he was averaging 14 drives. So you're like, yo, that's what we want. and then it disappears, and or he dribbles. You have to pick your times. You don't do it with double teams and triple teams and guys. The hands in this league, they'll pick you apart. So you got to use your common sense, man. And so, but he has the talent. Let him get to his spots, but that mid range is really, I think, the key. I think he'll shoot around 33%. Truthfully, I think that's his natural shooting area. That'll be in the 33 to 35%. I don't think we'll see 40% again from him, but I definitely think that he could be shooting 42% like he did last year, or even better from that mid range. I think that's his sweet spot that he's not, capitalizing on.
So, Foxy, let me know how you feel about coaching and when it comes to Julius Randle, because at some point somebody's going to have to step up and help Julius get out this funk. It can't only be on the players. We have a coaching staff. We brought in Kenny Payne from his alma mater to help guide him through tough stretches like this. And I think this season we really haven't heard much about the Kenny Paynes, the Johnny Bryants of the world as we're struggling. So what do you want to see the coaches go out there and do to help Julius Randle try to get better and try to help carry us to what we hope is a playoff season?
Yeah, well, we talked about this off the broadcast, and you know what, folks, this is what I think makes our show special, because I don't think anybody touched on this point in any about Kenny Payne and Johnny Bryant. That everyone talks about front office, everyone talks about Tibbs, but where's the accountability of these guys? This guy, I'll start with Kenny Payne. He was supposed to be brought in as the big guy whisperer, and that, he knew Julius, the Kentucky legacy and everything, and he was going to help Julius. And we saw that miraculous season last year. But this year, is he dribbling into less double teams? Is he kicking the ball out at the proper time when he's getting double teamed? Is he playing a less ISO ball? Is he cutting down on turnovers? Is he controlling his motions? Is he setting better screens? Is he complaining less to the refs? Is he not taking plays off on D and jogging up? No. So where's the accountability on Kenny Payne? I don't see what the hell he's doing to make Randle this year calm him down when he's getting out of control. Where is he the one? I thought he was going to be the one that, I got Julius, man. Don't worry, I got him. I'm going to get him under control. I'm going to, like you were saying, I need you to do that mid-range game. I need you to post up. I need you to do this. I need you to... where the hell's Kenny Payne this year? And we could touch on other players too. We just touched on Mitch and others. So where the hell is that? And, and I could touch on Johnny Bryant too, that's supposed to be the point guard whisperer. I don't, Quickley is okay. He's shown some growth, especially on defense, and his playmaking, but, Kemba, I didn't think he did anything to help Kemba. Maybe if Kemba had any semblance of being able to bring anything, whether helping him on defense, on switches, understanding, the spots, whatever it is, I don't think those coaches that we were saying, Johnny Bryant is the heir to the throne if Tibbs is gone. We've seen this team this year. I don't want Johnny Bryant as a goddamn coach. If this is the way this team plays, hey, it's weird. Whether it was in college and everything, I've heard ball players, and I'll use a story that I heard about a guy from Syracuse. And they said, what was it like to play for Jim Boeheim? And he's like, we only saw Boeheim on game day. He came into the locker room and he'd give us a speech, but my whole career was with assistant coaches. And you know what? It's pretty much a lot the same in pros. That the development of players is the assistant coaches working with them. The head coach is working on strategy, and they'll have a couple things, but their life is with the assistant coaches. So if we see Julius going through this type of thing, and we see RJ going through slumps and everything, where the hell are these assistant coaches that are supposed to be the development coaches helping these guys get out of these slumps, whether it's IQ we're talking about on shooting and things like that? So you know what? Nobody talked to me about Johnny Bryant as being the heir apparent here. He hasn't shown anything to me or Kenny Payne that they should ever be considered. If the day comes that the Tibbs is no longer here, those are two guys that I don't even want considered, because they're not doing anything now to show that they should be considered.
Yeah, I think Tibbs needs to add to the coaching staff and bring in somebody to get this offense right, to get us a little bit more fluid out there on offense. I was listening to CP on WFAM. Big shout out to him. He had a debut on Saturday night, his own solo show. Big news, big move for him. So congrats. And he had Ian Bagley on, and Bagley was saying there's not really an offensive coordinator on the staff. Everybody just contributes and chips in here and there. We need somebody that can bring in some kind of modern look to this offense, because I'm tired of seeing other teams being able to have some off-ball movement that's able to get them open looks. And, time and time again, we're doing the same thing, trying to get Julius Randle to, bring the double, but then he makes the wrong decision, and then now we're looking to run in transition and try to stop an easy bucket. So hopefully Tibbs can add to his staff and bring in someone that can really help elevate these players on the offensive level and put them in better spots to score.
Because it feels like that we've missed Woody. That we've missed Woody.
I was about to say that too. Yeah, we've kind of dipped since Woody has left. Even though he's more so a defensive coach, but we look this season, the defense has been, horrific to start. Whether that's personnel or whether that's the system, we won't know unless we're in that huddle.
Yeah, but last year, a lot of times at timeouts or a guy would come off the court, you'd see Woody walk over, father-like, put his hand on him, talk to him, maybe point to a point on the court. For positioning or whatever it is, but I think they're missing that. And like you said, I always wanted, Kenny to be the coach here, Atkinson, but
same here.
So, but I don't know. And Geraldine MacGyver said Tibbs doesn't listen to assistant coaches. So Geraldine, I think you're right, girl. So I don't know who he's listening to, and sometimes maybe he's listening too much to the analytics now. I don't think he's listening to his eyes. How many times have you and I said why he's so freaking rigid? He takes those guys out, at this time, whether they're up, what are you doing? Aren't you into the flow of the game? And that's why I was hoping that there would be an assistant coach in his ear or something like that to say, hey, let's do this. So I think there needs, from an accountability standpoint, everybody's talked about Tibbs and everybody's talked about the front office. But I think from a development standpoint, we have to touch on Kenny Payne and Johnny Bryant. Nobody's talked about that, but we are.
Also, we have a $5 super chat from 007 Angelo. He's saying, tractor trailer driver, salute. So I'm out of the loop. Whatever happened to man? I hope he's doing well. Bench Fournier, free Grimes. Facts. Man went on a hiatus, right?
Yeah, I haven't spoke to Ron. I haven't spoke to Ron in quite a while. So I know that he, it was time for him to do something else. So shout out Ron, if you're listening. Hope all is well with you and your family. But I don't know, can't answer you, my friend.
Yeah, salute to Ron. Let's see what else we have. Check out some more super chats. Check out some more chats. Foxy, you have anyone you want to shout out?
Yeah, Paris Duggar.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say Randle is sulking because he's no longer going to be an all-star. He's literally playing depressed. Randle doesn't have the courage under fire gene to fix himself. Yo, that's deep. We saw that look in his eyes in Atlanta last year. We saw that look in his eyes when he missed those foul shots, or even before he missed the foul shots. That Paris is always, man, I think really observant and perspective. You're right on target, man. I think he's sulking that he wants to be the man, and everyone is looking at him. You want to be the man, you got to take the pressure, and you can't have it both ways, man. So he's wilting under the pressure.
What you call Gregory Lee is saying Miles McBride is the point guard. Tibbs is getting in his own way. We've been saying that since he got here.
Hi, Gregory. Hope all is well. Yeah, man. And like we said, he dominated in G League, and you see him for the 40 seconds, his defense, you just see the way he gets down. It's like, can't we see this kid play defense? Give him a 5-minute, a 6-minute burst. Look, and like we said, this game, you knew the outcome of the game. It was a perfect opportunity to say, you know what? The kid's got his rhythm going in the G League and stuff like that. Let's, Grimes is on there. This is a really good opportunity for us to see the future of this team because, hey, journeymen that are in the other spots on this team, they're not going to be taking us anywhere. If we have a future, it's going to be with Deuce. It's going to be with Grimes. It's going to be with Sims. It's going to be with IQ. It's going to be with Obi. It's going to be with RJ. And obviously, it's going to be with Randle because of the contract.
Yeah, hear you there, Foxy. Any other shout outs you want to give out before we pivot to the next segment?
I'll get them at another time. Or if you don't mind, yeah, I'd like to do a quick shout out. Hey, folks, let me just get a quick update here. As always, please hit that like button, smash that like button, hit that subscribe button. But I really have a huge favor to ask. We are literally only I think a couple of people away from hitting the 5,000 subscriber milestone. It's an honor to work with my friend Keith here. He works so hard, folks. I can't tell you. I have such great respect. So I'm asking you as a favor, please pay homage to this man's hard work. And if you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe. So let's blow past that 5,000 onto our next goal of 6,000. It would be the best Christmas present to one of the nicest people I know, man, that you could ever meet. And also, folks, we're a blink away from that million viewer milestone. So congratulations, Keith. Your brilliant work is being acknowledged, and 5,000 subscribers. Wow. But you know what? We're going to blow past that. And hopefully tonight, I think we got 35 subscribers last week on Sunday's show. Folks, if you haven't subscribed, the guaranteed good time, like I always say, will enlighten you. It's sometimes controversial, but always entertaining. That we love you on Sunday night. So hit that subscribe, hit that like, hit that all reminder bell so you don't miss out on any of the wonderful content that Keys puts out on Sports Vibe TV. Please share the link on your favorite social media platforms. And as always, shout out to the best mods in the planet. We appreciate all you do.
Thank you for that, Foxy. And it looks like we also got a few subscribers in chat. Want to give a shout out to Fugazi. He said he's going to subscribe. Thank you for the support. And
Thank
also
you.
Alexis Zader. She said she just subscribed as well. So thank you for your support. We appreciate it. Foxy, earlier you talked about your rotation. I think you gave us your starters. So give us a little bit more insight into what rotation you would go with and how you would set the minutes up. And you already said you would elevate Rose, and what would you go from there?
So Rose, like I said, but again, it's critical. 24 minutes, nothing to exceed that. So start the game, start the third quarter, finish the game, and then minutes in between in that second and third quarter. RJ, and again, shout out to RJ and Obi. I don't know whether it's just protocol if they're not feeling well, but we miss you, kids. We need those youngins back. So, you've heard me from an analyst standpoint talk about finishing and stuff like that. Don't go by that. I care about this kid. I think the kid has a great future, and most of all, I want him well, and I want Obi well. So hurry up back. So RJ at the 2, Burks at the 3, which is his natural spot. Don't put him in at a point guard position. That experiment has to come to an end. Come on, Tibbs. That experiment should be over. We have to go the rest of the way with D Rose at the starting guard. Randle obviously at the 4, and whether Noel or Mitch, whatever, preferably Mitch. Noel, I just don't know. And it bothers me because he's a veteran. One thing is you see somebody's ailing from an ailment that they're not, but he should still have his position on defensively. He looks like he doesn't know what the hell he's doing, and you should never see that from a vet. So then on the second team, I think, you said it. Hey, I'm down for it. Let's go with IQ. Let's go with IQ at the point guard on the second team. Whether Grimes at the shooting guard, and we'll have Obi at the 4, and whomever who's left at the 5 from there. But I could definitely see that.
So if I were to set up my rotations, I would set it up with Rose starting as well. So I'd agree with you there. I'd have Grimes start at the 2. I'd have RJ at the 3. I hear you saying he's better at the 2, but I think he can hold his own at the 3. And then I would have Julius Randle at the 4, and I would have Mitch at the 5. I think Mitch, I still have hopes for him as the starting center with this team. And I want to give him every opportunity to either prove me right or prove me wrong. If he proves me wrong, then we can move on from him at the deadline. Hopefully, because hopefully we don't keep him like a Frank and get nothing for him when he walks away. I think Mitch holds a little bit more value than a Frank Ntilikina that was getting no minutes. Him getting benched definitely hurt his value. So if we were looking to move on from him, it would be better for us to elevate him back to the starting lineup. Hopefully he plays well, and then we can get the most bang for our buck. Now with the second unit, I'm looking at Deuce and Quick backcourt. What was wrong? Deuce and Quick.
No, I just had repression in my head. I said I was going through what I just said. And I went, I forgot to say Fournier on the second team.
No, so, that was perfect. He was exactly where he belongs, you know.
No, but I forgot to say him on the second. I just exactly. I left him off first team, second team, everything. So forgive me. That's what you call.
I'm leaving him off too. So we're in the same boat. I'm just gonna do it on purpose. So we've got Deuce and Quick in the backcourt. Then we've got Alec Burks at the 3. Then Obi, but I'm going to give Obi a little bit more minutes, and I'm going to take some minutes from Julius Randle. I'm also going to have some overlap between the two in small ball lineups. And then I'm also going to have Nerlens Noel, but I'm giving Knox some minutes. I'm expanding the rotation. No, I'm sorry. Noel's not playing. Noel's going in the bench with Fournier and them. Sims is going to be the backup center. So that'll be the 5, and then I'm going to expand the rotation, give a little bit more minutes to Knox. I said at the top of the show, Tibbs has been trying, Knox as the small ball 4 to help with the spacing and having a knockdown shooter out there when teams go zone. So he's going to be someone that we look towards in situations like that when we want to go small. And I want this rotation to be a lot larger than just a 8 to 10 man rotation. We can get 11, 12 guys in. We don't have to give people a boatload of minutes. We can monitor Derrick Rose's minutes that way, have him be the starter and still be fresh enough to close. And then when you look at that closing lineup, I would have Julius Randle, I would have Derrick Rose, I would have RJ, those 3, and then you would mix in whoever's hot that night. If it's Obi one night, maybe we go small to close the game. If it's Grimes and we need some defense and shooting out there, maybe it could be Grimes. I'm willing to be a little, or if you want, but I'm willing.
You see what you want, Foxy. This is my team. I'm going to go with my lineup. But what the hell are you talking about, man?
But that's the lineup I would go with. I think
I like it, man. I like
a lot of energy. It's just the crazy part is we say these lineups. Meanwhile, we're sitting here and we all know Tibbs would never go with either one of them. And that's what's frustrating about being a Knicks fan and having Tibbs as your coach.
Yeah, I know, but I love the way you were thinking, man. I definitely think that would be an excellent way to go. And you know what? I like the way you said that. Depending situational. Hey, this will be the core, but depending on what's being thrown at us, the guys on the floor, we'll use this one, but we'll have a core of Rose, Randle, RJ, as our core closers, and then we'll fill in the others depending on who we're facing that night. That's a great strategy. Why the hell is this esteemed coach doesn't have the same common sense?
And we can say, and we have that on a random Sunday night, It's crazy. It's crazy. I mean,
keys for coach.
I'd rather be in the front office than coach, honestly.
Yeah, me too.
Let me discuss contracts. But Foxy, it's frustrating because you look at our rotations and pretty much we exclude all of the big ticket signings. So at that point, you're looking at this front office and you got to say this offseason, not the offseason in its entirety, because we did hit on our draft pick. So I'll give them that. But free agency was a big F for this team. We have a bunch of players that aren't contributing to winning. Fournier, Kimba, Nerlens Noel, Burks has been solid. I guess he'll be the only positive. Derrick Rose, I keep forgetting we signed him in the offseason. But outside of, Rose and Burks, everybody else really isn't contributing to this team.
But then the real big point, you were talking about, we have all this cap space. We used up the cap space for these guys.
And did nothing.
And like I said,
now we're going to have to hope some other team will take them off our hands so we can free up cap space and try to get in a big ticket player.
Yeah, and we know it's only 3 days away, but we know the game. If you want to take our bad contract, we're going to give you our bad contract. So whether it's a Kevin Love or whatever it is, that's how this is going to play. Is that the way? That was the strategy. So we were talking about, we got the cap space. And like I said, and I keep coming back to it, Chicago reconstructed their roster in 1 year. DeRozan, Ball, Caruso, Vucevic to complement Levine. And what the hell did we do to help Julius? So, hey, I'm aggravated with Julius too, but the front office didn't do any due diligence to help that guy. No way, no how.
Yeah, they didn't. I got a super chat. Let me click it. From Adele Chapman, $10 super chat. Thank you. He's saying, just want to say Merry Xmas and show respect to Keys and Fox. Thank you, Adele. Appreciate you tuning in and supporting. Merry Xmas to you as well. And happy Hanukkah and happy Kwanzaa to those that celebrate those holidays.
Yeah, I love Adele. Been a great supporter and a great friend for quite some time now. We're pals over a year or so now, and he's always asked great questions and been a great supporter. So hope all is well with you and the family. But thanks again for your generosity. We greatly appreciate it. And I see another wonderful person. Just wanted to give a quick shout out to Kaiser Soze. Hope all is well with you and your family. You said Grimes should be the backup shooting guard. Send Burks out for a pick. Yo, you won't hear us complaining.
Hey,
Kaiser again is awesome, man. Yeah, well, you won't hear us complaining,
I wasn't here
Kaiser.
for signing him in the first place. A lot of these moves I wasn't for. When I heard them, I said, let me be positive. I can see where they're trying to go, and hopefully it'll work. But now we're seeing it in action, and this was not the direction we should have taken. But hey, there are trades, and things can be, adjusted. We can change this lineup, and we're gonna talk about a few players the Knicks could pursue. Foxy, I'd like to get your thoughts on a couple of them, if I can ever put the slide up. There we go. Bada bing, bada boom. So first hole on this team that needs to be addressed. A lot of people say the Knicks need to go out and try to bring in a stretch five, someone that can free up the paint, allow Julius Randle, RJ to get easier drives to the basket and get better spacing out there on the court. So here I have Miles Turner, Jonas Valanciunas, and Mo Bamba, just to give guys an understanding of some players we could target. Turner would be a big splash move. Valanciunas this is his last year on his contract, so it would be a smaller move. And then Mo Bamba would be a move that you would make if you want to bring someone in and re-sign them and make part of your young core. So Foxy, let me get your thoughts on some of these players here.
Love Turner. Well, for all of them, as I always talk about, us thinking like GMs, it has to be about value. You don't mind paying a little tax, but it can't be crazy. Turner is a phenomenal shot blocker. He's 25. He can shoot the three. He bring the spacing. I think his rebounding is impacted, the stats at least, because he has Sabonis next to him. But he'd be a wonderful five on this team, a wonderful five. But I think other teams are thinking the same thing. So I think whoever's going to throw the bag at Indiana or the best deal. So I'd love him. But at the same time, I want to give up several first-round draft choices and like that. Valanciunas is going to be a free agent at the end of this year, so maybe we could get him in a sign and trade type of thing. He is, he'd be our Vucevic, hit the three, as you see, he's a blink under 12 rebounds a game. He may not be the greatest rim defender, protector and stuff like that, and block shots, but he's still a big. And the spacing on our offense would go to a whole nother level. And Bamba is really coming into his own this year. There's a new coach from the Mavs that they hired with a defensive mind. He has incredible length. He can shoot the three. He can block shots. He's a hometown kid. It'd be great if he came here. But again, can we get him with a fair? And like I said, I don't mind paying some tax, but you just don't want to get crazy.
Yeah, I think the cheapest person might be Jonas.
I agree with you.
Yeah, when Mo hits free agency, he's still going to be restricted. So even that can be a little tricky. If Orlando feels like they want to get involved, they can hold up the process by threatening to not tag him, but threatening to match the offer sheet.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting, but this is where this is in February, I think, is the third year of this front office. So, the honeymoon's over. Let's see what they're going to do. Let's see what they're going to do, man.
Over. After we saw what they did in free agency, is long over. They're still getting solid marks for what they're doing in the draft. which makes me feel good seeing that we know we have a boatload of draft picks. But seeing what they've done assessing talent in free agency gets me a little bit nervous when it comes to them assessing talent and trying to make a move or trying to go out and trade for someone. Because remember, before the trade deadline, Evan Fournier was a player they discussed us trying to go out there and trade for. So yeah, we gave up cap space.
So who the hell's making that assessment of talent to even think that way?
Yeah, but if we would have traded for him, we would have given up draft capital in order to do so. So I'm now a little bit hesitant to say, all right, I want them to go out there and make a move, because I'm not sure if they'll be able to make the fair assessment of who they're going to bring in and if they'll be able to gel with this team. Because clearly Kimba and Evan are two players that have not fit with this team so far.
Yeah, also, and I don't know if
in a poll. Go ahead.
No, and also I was going to say, I don't know if you saw the article that said that our front office refused to give a guarantee to Chris Duarte to say we'll definitely pick you, and he said that if that happened, he would have told every other team, I wouldn't work out with you, man. So they couldn't even do that, and then everybody's like, oh, he's 24. He's the most really NBA ready, and we saw his game and defensively, his length and everything. He would have been wonderful versus a Fournier. Oh my God. Right out of the chute, the kid would have been successful. So I'm really having questions about the team and their assessment of talent.
We saw how he'd look versus a Fournier. He cooked Fournier.
Everyone's cooking Fournier. Hey, what did I say? You got to give Foxy the other day. Is like, George, I'm feeling good about this Toronto game. I think the Knicks are going to win. Foxy, I hope. Oh, and then I said the magic words. Folks, I got a feeling Gary Trent's going to light him up. And Gary Trent, that he was going to put a dagger in this team, and Foxy was 100% right, folks. I called it. Not that that was pulling a rabbit out of my head. I think anybody could have said that one. But yeah, anyone that's facing Fournier is like a fork and knife. They can't wait to eat, man.
Yeah, I hear you. So I put a poll in the chat, letting everyone know, or letting everyone decide who the Knicks should go out there and target. As we get on to the next position group, we'll allow that to continue to go on. So let's see. Next position group, gonna be wings. Another player a lot of people are talking about is Brandon Ingram of the New Orleans Pelicans. Miles Bridges, he's been going off recently for the Charlotte Hornets and could be available. And then we've got Cam Reddish, former teammate of RJ Barrett. So Foxy, looking at these moves, you've got the big splash move with Brandon Ingram. You've got two long-term moves in Bridges, who is starting to come along and will be more expensive than Cam. And then you have Cam, who's been a fringe rotation player and could be had for the cheap, you would hope. So how do you feel about these three options, and what would you do if you were the Knicks? Would you pursue any of them, or is there any other player you would have in mind?
No, I think you set it up beautifully, that it would take a lot to get Ingram, and probably RJ, in fact.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
So there's a high price to get him, and he's never played on a winning team. So, nothing against him, but he has good numbers, and he'd be a great three. Although we'll be seeing, I think, Tuesday on Golden State, Wiggins, the three that would really been great on this team. But I think, to answer your question, I think probably Reddish would be my selection. I think it would be the one that we can get without giving up the most assets, that has the athleticism that this team could use. He has good athleticism. His three balls fall, he's shooting the three much better. And, maybe with RJ, they'd click and stuff like that, but he has nice size. So if we can get Reddish, I wouldn't mind that at all.
Yeah, me too. I'd probably go after Reddish. You look at Bridges, it's hard to see Charlotte allowing him to leave. That's my point. But you never know with Charlotte. They've done crazier things, They went and gave what's his name, the bag from Boston.
Hayward.
So they've done crazier things than that. So we'll see how their cap situation goes. They still have to pay Melo in 3 years from now? 2-3 years from now. So
yeah. Did you see Melo get benched yesterday?
No, he got benched.
Yeah,
I got him in fantasy too.
He missed a reverse dunk on a breakaway. and the coach ranked him right out. Like, you pulling that shit in the
That
middle of
would
the
have been
game.
Obi if he missed
That
it
would have been
between the
Obi.
legs.
You beat
That
me
would have
to
been
it. It was like,
home, and we probably wouldn't have seen him for another week.
yeah, you want to pull that shit, go back to and one, man. You can't be doing that in the game, especially Obi. We were down 7 at the time. Yeah, he made it 5, but you can't do that. And it also bothered me. You're still losing. The guys are going crazy. That's a loss of focus, man. That, hey, we're losing. I'm glad it was a spectacular play and everybody loved it, but we're losing. All right, let's cheer for a second, but let's get back into the game. You know, they were acting like we won a fucking game and we didn't. So come on, man.
Yeah, B. Simmons is saying we could have taken Miles Bridges in draft, but took Knox instead. Well, I mean, we saw some positive signs from Knox, so hopefully, I mean, there is no hopefully because he's not the player of a Miles Bridges, but I mean, we got to deal with what we got, and if Knox can contribute this season, then hey, it's better than what we've been getting the first 10, 15 games of this season where he was sitting and he was a chronic DMP. So at least now we can hope he's in the rotation.
Yeah, folks, if Knox had Bridges' motor, oh my God, that would be a great player.
Facts. So let me just close out the previous poll and put up the next one just to let you guys know the result. YouTube takes a year and a day, so it'll be up shortly. But the next position is going to be probably the one that's been the biggest hole on this Knicks team since I can remember, and that's going to be point guard. So before we get to point guard, let's look at the final results for stretch 5. The winner is going to be Turner. 46% of the chat says we should make a big trade for Miles Turner. 31% say we should go after a player like Mo Bamba, and 22% say we should go after Jonas Valanciunas. All right, now let's get into point guard. Foxy, I got one of your favorite guys on here. DeJounte Murray in the middle. We've also got De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah.
And we've got Brunson. All players that could be moved. You know, how likely we won't know until we get closer to the trade deadline and we hear more rumors. But are these some names that the players, not the players, but that the Knicks should be involved in pursuing?
I think they should be involved, but I don't think they could get them. The price for Fox, even though they have 2 other point guards in Mitchell and Halliburton, the price would be way too much, man. I love his speed. He's not a good defensive player, folks. Not a good defensive player at all. I put out on a tweet last week the top or the worst defenders in the NBA based on defensive rating, and is there. DeJounte Murray is beautiful. You know, he's long. You know, he's good. You see he's having a great year. I don't think, you know, he's part of the foundation in San Antonio. I can't see them giving him up. And Brunson, I don't mean anything, but I'd rather us give Deuce a chance than give up assets for a Brunson.
So if it weren't one of these 3, who's a player that you think the Knicks could try to pursue to help alleviate some of the point guard duties or some of the issues we have at point guard?
I don't know. I wish I've been going through my head, you know, it comes back down to the old thing. Ricky Rubio, you know, there's been talk about him getting bought out and stuff like that, but he'd probably want to go to a better team. But you know,
also Drastic might get bought out as well.
But all the rumors he's going down to Dallas. Yeah, that he was going to go to Mavericks, but he also has that huge like offensive lineman brace on his knee, so you don't know when that's going to happen. And so I think we should be patient that maybe next year Rokas can come. You know,
hey Rokas,
it's not a show, folks, without us mentioning Rokas. But he's the floor general that we're looking for. So I think the price, it would be too exorbitant. That, you know, D Fox would be playing with himself. We'd have to give up too much for him. And Murray, he's special. You know, he's exactly the type of point guard that we need. Long, smart. You see 8 rebounds, 8 assists, 8 rebounds a game, 18 points. He's not the greatest shooter, but he's still in the 30s. He's not like a 20% shooter. So, yeah. So that's the problem. Great point guards are not available, or even good point guards. They're that valuable. So either you have to overpay at such a premium, or that's why I'm saying, you know what, give Deuce a chance and let's go from there. And also IQ. I agree with you, Keith. You know, I don't want, you know, his shooting is bothering me, but in today's NBA, you know, And I think Wally talked about it today. Sometimes he needs to slow down. He needs to slow down. Sometimes he's just too harried in his play that he just needs to slow it down. I think all the other elements of playmaking, I'm not talking about a shooting. I'm talking about playmaking, seeing the court. If you're so frenzied, you're not going to see the court the same way if you're under control. And again, he's in his second year. It's a process. So I'd be patient with IQ. I'd be patient, with Deuce, and also we have D Rose that rather than us give up incredible assets to get somebody, especially a Brunson, but it'd just be too exorbitant to get either Fox or DeJounte.
I hear you. So, Foxy, we actually have a tie when it comes to the wings. Ingram and Reddish both tied at 40%.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the lemon pepper one out, and I'm like, yo, I see Cully. I see Cully's in there. Yo,
Lemon
Scorpio
pepper my
reasons. Yo, so
and Bridges comes in at 19%, which is kind of weird. You'd have thought it would have been an even 20. So I guess it's not really a tie. Somebody probably edged it, but we won't know. 47 votes. So let's see. I'm gonna throw up a poll as well for the point guards. Foxy, what kind of moves do you see the Knicks making? This.
Hey, wait, 1 second, Keith. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Yeah, do what you got to do. What happened?
We hit the 5,000 subscriber milestone just now, folks.
Did we?
We did.
Did we? Oh, let me go check.
Yeah.
You're running the show. You really focused on so many things. I didn't get it.
I think it just came over my thing. Thank you.
Hey!
Yeah, 5,000 subscribers. I can't tell you how much appreciate you taking care of Keith and showing, like I said, he works so hard. So we hit the 5,000, 6,000's next. And the beautiful part of it, like I said, we're a blink away from 1 million views, that milestone. So the show, we couldn't do the show without you and all your support. So thank you. That's the best Christmas present you could give my brother. So we hit the 5,000 subscriber milestone. Yo, let me see that thumbs up in the chat, man. Show everybody, man. 5,000 for our guy, man. Sports 5 TV. Fire.
Thank you guys for holding down the channel and getting us up to 5,000 subscribers. When I started this channel, never thought I would make it to that type of milestone. And, I say I could never make it. But again, this does not happen without you guys in chat. Doesn't happen without you, Foxy. Doesn't happen without JD pulling up, doing shows with me. And I appreciate that network of content creators, along with also George from Into the Knicks.
George, yeah.
You guys check out all those channels. I think, being able to have this channel and to meet the people I have met, to be able to go to Knicks games, to go to Vegas and cover the Knicks. None of that happens without you guys. So I just want to say
we love you, SV Nation. Thank you so much.
I started this channel last year because the pandemic was going on, Rona was running around crazy, and I'm an X-ray tech, and the things I've seen, you just want to escape that place. So to be able to come on here, talk sports with you guys has been a great release for me. And this is going to be one step of the journey. We're going to hit 6, we're going to hit 7, we're going to hit 8, we're going to hit 9, and keep going and empowering through. So thank you guys for all the support. Greatly appreciate it. And let's hope the Knicks can turn this thing around and make this season a lot more enjoyable when it comes to the play out there on the court. So once again, thank you guys. It's greatly appreciated.
Yeah, I'm beaming, man. I'm so proud of you and so happy with
I'm shocked we made it during stream. I had no idea. I appreciate you guys. Thank you. You definitely made my day. And so belated birthday gift as well.
Yep. So awesome. Sorry, I lost track. Slow. I saw that, and we've been talking, and so like I said, the next one is 1 million views. We're a blink away from that. So here comes 1 million views. That's a hell of a milestone too, folks.
Yeah. So thank you for pointing that out, Foxy. Also, thank you for making that special shout out for the like, subscribe, and notification turned on. I did not think to mention the 5K. You know, I just like to come on here, chop it up, talk with everybody. So the fact that you were able to hold me down, the mod's able to hold me down and remind me when things, you know, I forget things. Be kind of forgetful here and there. You know, we're not perfect. So thank you guys for holding me down. Greatly appreciate it. All the mods too. Got to give you guys a shout
Oh,
out.
the mods
Boost,
are
Big
awesome, man.
Cast, Lex the Destroyer, Justin. All you guys are holding us down, holding the channel down, and we got like 250 in chat right now. That's a big deal for this show. So thank you guys for all the support you're giving us, especially post loss. You know, it's only so many things you can say about the team when they come out there and kind of stink up the joint. But you guys make it enjoyable to discuss and analyze the team. So thank you guys for tuning in to Sports Vibes TV.
Yippee!
Did the last poll not go through? Are you guys seeing the poll in chat? I asked another poll for Murray, Fox, and
Yeah,
Brunson.
I think there's 35 votes.
Okay, so it is all right. YouTube's a little
Yeah,
bit
I see
slow.
Murray's leading. Murray's leading 50-33, and Brunson's in third at 17.
As he should.
Yeah, as he should. But also, you've heard me say this, folks. Did you see Dallas in the playoffs last season? He did shit. He didn't do anything, Brunson. Why do you want to put, he had the chance to showcase himself, and we saw other guys, Cameron Payne, Jackson, we saw other guys in that position that played. So.
Yeah, Murray's got a pretty sizable lead at 60% right now. All right, Foxy, it's that time of the show. Sports Vibes Lounge, where we open it up to the chat, answer your guys' questions. You guys can ask us anything. We'll put it up on screen and talk some more Knicks with you guys. Let's go.
Yep, favorite time of the show every week. This is the SV Nation takes over. It's your time. You tell us what you want to talk about, the questions, everything. We love it. Now it's our time to chill, and you take over. So, D Nice, no more lefty shooters, please. I know. I know. Bricks Nation, Murray will cost too much. I'm with you, Bricks Nation. Hope all is well with you and the family. But yeah, man, I think he's too good. And also, I don't think there's a price on him. I don't think they even consider anything from anyone. Although they do have Derek White there, but Derek White's not on the same level as DeJounte.
D.Beer said, did last year get us off track in proper rebuilding? Yes, it did. I think this team, this front office did not expect Julius Randle to perform the way he did. And with that performance, they had to go out there and give him a nice contract to kind of have a good public look, I think. Because honestly, it wasn't the moment to give him that contract unless you were going to do what they did and get him for the low. But now we're seeing that the low isn't really the low because he's not performing up to that contract. So it's crazy. But last season definitely did throw us off proper rebuild, especially when we went after a coach like Tom Thibodeau, who was prioritizing winning as opposed to development. Because you could tell it just by the offense. Us running through the offense through Julius Randle last year and this year is just to get the most amount of wins possible. And, that's cool. But I think where we are someplace where the team should be focused on getting the most from our young players and helping to build that core, But Tibbs decides he wants to go out there, throw out a bunch of vets with Julius Randle and play through him. And now you see where we are. It was only sustainable for that 1 year when we got, out of body experience performances from Julius Randle, Nerlens Noel, Alec Burks, and those type of players. Now they're not able to replicate those type of results. And you see we're a middle of the road team, well, less than a middle of the road team, honestly. We're below, 4 or 5 games below 500 or something like that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We're, I think, 3 games at the moment. Or 4 games. Yeah. So
in that ballpark.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm with you. You said that so well. Hey, Sergeant Knicks, a.k.a. G-Man for Life. Hope all is well with you and the family. As always, Jay Boogie. Yep. I heard Jay Boogie today on with CP. You mentioned it earlier. Hey, folks, again, just a shout out to CP, his show last night. Yo, his opening monologue, folks, Boogie talked about it in his song, The Podcast. Folks, this is not easy. CP is a real pioneer. This podcasting started in 2017 and, he went through 17 win seasons, I think 29 win seasons. Folks, it's not easy. Nobody we love our Knicks. We're passionate. Nobody wants to 2 times, 3 times a week say, "Hey, the Knicks suck" or this. Nobody wants to be negative, So it's grind. It's a grind. It's grueling. It's draining. So this guy, it's the old saying: pioneers get the arrows and settlers get the land. He really was a pioneer in this whole YouTube, but now he's a pioneer again. He created this phenomenal show, and like I said, that opening monologue. Folks, to go off and start and do that, you are so gifted to do something like that. And it was funny. Chuck D called him the natural. I'm like, this is CP's first show on NFAN. You'd never know it, man. That's how smooth the guy is. So congratulations, CP. You're the king, and rightly so, man. We have great respect, much respect for you, man.
Yeah, he helped get me through my shift. I was stuck working. You know me, always at work. Only I could be at work at 10 o'clock on a Saturday.
Yeah. Well, you always work 24 hours, like I said, folks. I got an idea. 3 o'clock in the morning. Hey, Keith, yeah, what's up, Foxy? Don't you ever sleep? No.
Nope. I want to give a shout out to Bandana Dan. He's saying first time in here, new sub, big Knick fan. I just want to say that one thing Grimes has that Quick/Fournier aren't showing is aggression. He isn't afraid to fail. Thank you for tuning in, Bandana Dan. Appreciate the support. And yeah, Grimes showed it. He wasn't scared. I mean, he had a couple heat checks where you were like, yo, bro, calm down. But you were like, all right, hey, if everyone else is scared to shoot and you out there chucking him and knocking down your threes, you can't be too mad. But he was definitely not afraid.
I love his physicality, and folks, talk about development. He's already an elite 3-point shooter. I love his defensive game. In the next couple of years, he improved that handle. He improves the mid-range, and he improves finishing at the basket. Watch out. He's going to be really good. I also think, though, he's much, much better off at the 2. That you saw he did all right with Middleton, but Middleton's a touch too long for him. I think certain 3s may be touched too long for him, but I think he's great at that 2, man. I love him there.
Want to give a shout out to Still DRE. Congrats on 5,000. Salute SV Nation. Thank you. Also, Still DRE. I think you shot me a follow on Twitter too. Thank you. Greatly appreciate that. If you want to support the channel, you can follow us on Twitter as well at Sports Vibes TV. If you want to follow Foxy, you can follow him on Twitter as well at Fox Sports Talk.
Correct. Yep. Hey, shout out Hardwill. I hope all is well with you and the family. Hardwill just has great respect when working with the youth, getting their games going to be the players in college and hopefully the pros someday. So I have such great respect for anyone who's paying it forward or working with the young, the youth to focus on good things in life. And hoops are a great thing in life. So great respect for you, Hardwill. Right. Fritz Alcindor Jr., one of the great mods in the Knick fandom. Hope all is well, Fritz. Man-child.
Hey, Fritz.
Yo, Fritz.
Salute, Fritz. Thank you for tuning in. Congrats on 5K. Appreciate that. Make sure you guys tune in to Nick of Time as well on YouTube.
Yeah. Warren Franklin, Charlie Ward's cousin. Salute, man. Always a great enjoy him, man. I love his energy. I just love his style, man. He's a good guy.
Jay Boogie, every day of our lives, we just podcasting. I hope it's okay with us closing the live streams with Jay Boogie's songs at the end. I know he's the closer at Knicks Fan TV, and that's a very important title. So, hopefully we're not stepping on anybody's toes playing Jay Boogie to close our show, but definitely a dope song. And we will be closing this show with podcasting as well. So salute. Make sure you guys are tuned into Jay Boogie when he's dropping music as well.
Yeah. Hey, Ron, still Knicks fans, folks. He's doing an excellent NBA report, him and John on NBK channels. Shout out to Sim. But great work, Ron. Have great respect for what you're doing. Again, Sergeant Knicks, love Foxy, always show love to the family, love. Back at you, folks. Like I said, hey, I do have something to say. That do me a favor, whether it's Sergeant Knicks or whether it's Delano, all the vets. It shouldn't be one day a year. It should be every day of the year. We love our Knicks, and a lot of us, they're the heroes. You are my heroes. The service that you provided this country, all the dedication. I love our vets. My father spent 4 years in South Pacific, stepped on a mine during the war. Never let it bring him down. So, love the vets.
Parrish Doug is funny. He said, Jay Boogie is the Knicks all-show closer.
Yeah, when you have his talent, man, whether today today on the show and everything. I just love what he said. He's, I look at him like almost like a minister, man. He always has positive things to say, and whether it's the time of the season for Christmas and everything else. And also, I heard what you said, Boogie, about Randle. So we don't want to be too brutal on him. It was just, but like we try to say, hey, we think he should get help, but we hear you. We hear you.
Foxy, John has a question for you. He's saying, salute Foxy. You called in the fan Saturday night, right?
I did. I didn't know if anybody heard me, but I was on with CP. I did call in. So thank you for catching that, John. Yep. But half the show, like I said, it's a love thing for all of us. So whether that or we just talked about Sergeant Knicks, like I said, Pod Couple, if you haven't tuned in and subscribed to Pod Couple, we want to support everybody. This is a community. It's all love, all respect here. And, we're, as like you cheered on my brother Keys for hitting that 5,000 subscriber. We're cheering on that you do that too. So we have such great respect. Shout out to Freezy, Miss Mocha, all of them in the community. All of them are. It's like we said. It's really difficult behind the scenes, 10 pages of notes and working. We're trying to make this entertaining and, trying to have unique takes that you don't hear anyplace else, but we try to be fair. And most of all, we want to make sure that we interact with you and get your feedback because we learn more from you than from ourselves.
Facts. I also want to give a salute to CP, the artist. He said he just pulled up. He'll rewatch from the beginning. Appreciate that. If you have any other questions while we're off and we're no longer live, just let us know in the comment section of the replay video and we'll pull up and chop it up with you there as well. Let's see. Hey, Delano wants to give you a special thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you, man. All the vets, Soulfinger 12 is not here today, but him, all of them, Ron, we've mentioned Ron, Freezy, all you guys, you're awesome, man, for all you did. And, some of them, like my dad, they saw things that you don't ever want to see in life, and yet they get on with their life. So I can't tell you the respect I have for you people.
Yeah, you and me both. I used to work at the veterans home in Montrose here in New York. I used to work the stock rooms to make sure that all of the facilities were properly stocked and things like that before I got my degree in X-ray.
Yeah.
And it's funny because now I go back there to do the X-rays on them. So I'm cool with a couple people. So I chop it up with them and things like
that's
that.
special. That's special.
Yeah.
I just wish the rest of like I said, it shouldn't be one day a year on Veterans Day that you say, hey, thank you. It should be every day.
Facts. Edward Walker has a question, Foxy. He says, will the Knicks turn it around? And I think that's a loaded question because there's two questions that you have to follow up with. That is, will Tibbs stop being so rigid in his rotations? And will Julius Randle figure it out? Those are two big questions. And that question is answered depending on what we get from those. So if Tibbs opens up his rotation and allowed other players to get involved, then yes, the Knicks, I do think, have the requisite talent to get things turned around. If Julius Randle able to figure it out, get out of his funk and start performing to the level of the Julius Randle we saw last season, then yes, I think we can turn it around. But if we don't get those two things, then it could be, a long rest of the season for us if Tibbs is going to continue to be stubborn and Julius Randle can't find his way.
You know what Julius needs? A smile.
He was smiling after the brick.
Yeah, I know.
Well, but it wasn't a brick. It was a good shot. It was a good shot.
It didn't go in. And you know what? That was nervous energy. I didn't like it too. I never liked it with Bullock last year. I don't like when players do that, but it's a nervous reaction. I don't think he did it, to cause any controversy. I just think that was the reaction from, nobody wanted that more than Julius. But you know what? I'd love to see him play with joy. I'd love him to see him smile. That'd be the best medicine for his game. So I'm hoping whether the guys on the team, his personal life, or something could happen where it's like, you know what, I'm going to let all this negativity go. I love the game. I'm going to start playing the game. I got my contract, so I don't have any pressure there. Let me just keep it simple. Let me care about my teammates. Let me care about our fans in New York. Let me play good basketball and let me enjoy my basketball because nobody wants to see somebody that looks miserable, But I think, and so to answer his question, yeah, I think the Knicks could turn it around. We had almost a similar record last year, even though it was 10 games less in the season. But I think we could turn this around, folks. I'm thinking positive. And like we saw today, Grimes, there was a lot of positive that you could take from it. So RJ, he's a young, he's a stud. He went through a couple things, but I believe in RJ. I think we have the nucleus, and the same thing with Randle. I'm thinking positive.
Want to give a big shout out to Sergeant Knicks. Appreciate the $100 super chat. He's saying
Yeah,
this is an example. Yeah, appreciate that. He's saying this is an example of what right looks like. Much love to you guys and the Knicks family. We see from the passing of the NFL player, Demaryius Thomas. Tell your loved ones you love them every day. Salute, Knicks family. Facts. Foxy and I definitely wanted to put a moment aside to say RIP to him and his family.
Yeah, we said that before the thank you, Sarge. We had that on our notes to do a shout out for Demaryius today. He played for the Jets for a short time, but he had such a wonderful career with the Broncos, a world champion. Yeah. But you're so generous, Sergeant. G-Man for life. We can't tell you we appreciate your generosity, but most of all, just for who you are, man. He's a really nice guy. You could just see quality person, man. And there's not enough great people in this world, and you're one of them.
Yeah, thank you, Sarge, for the donation. Appreciate you tuning in and supporting the channel. We do see you here regularly on Sundays, and I thank you for that.
All right, thank you, Hard Will, for the congratulations on the 5K, man. Really, really appreciate it. Anthony Simmons could be a possibility. Yep, although I see a lot of quick game, in that.
Back without you noticing.
What happened? I was taking his. Oh man, I didn't have that chance to say this is a chance in the emergency brought that big foot of yours. Oh,
it wasn't that. For some reason, when you have a Mac, you do the 2-finger swipe. It takes you back on the browser. So it took me to the loading page, and I had to come back in.
Oh, I thought you were going to say your porno came up or something.
Foxy, what left? All right, let's see what else. We got any other questions? Wayne Hegel is saying, who will be traded at the deadline? I have a list of players that need to be traded at the deadline. You have Evan Fournier, he has to go. Kemba Walker, he has to go. Nerlens Noel, he has to go. Those three should be moved on. They should seek greener pastures elsewhere.
Hey, I just got a thing. I'm sorry. I just got a thing from Jay Boogie, hot off the press. And he just said he'd appreciate to let the chat know that next Sunday he'll be releasing his next single, and it'll be on all platforms. It's called We Back on Christmas, and it features Popper Left and Cully. So we can't wait.
Popper Left and Cully, that's lit.
So yeah, I know. So thank you for the sending me the information during the show, man. As always, we try to keep it up to date. So Boogie, absolutely. Next Sunday, folks, please get ready. Do whatever you can to support the man, Boogie. So we back on Christmas. So it'll be on all platforms. And again, featuring some of the the favorite people in all the Knicks fandom, Papa Left and Cully. I love Cully, man.
Yeah, Boost and Lex are saying we're 1 like away from 200. So can somebody do us a solid, smash that like and get us over that 200 threshold? Also, Wilson Dang is saying Kemba is in an Austin Rivers situation. Facts. He got Austin Rivers.
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, Wilson. Hope all is well. We always appreciate your comments and your feedback.
But hopefully that is, we have that same situation because we benched Austin Rivers and throughout all the moves to get him out of here, we ended up with Jericho Sims. That was the 76ers pick, I believe, in the second round we used on Jericho Sims. So it looks like trading Austin Rivers is still going to be a move that's going to benefit us long term with us bringing in Sims. So hopefully we have something similar with Kemba where we can move on from him, get a pick, and then this front office can hit once again in the draft process.
I feel bad for Kemba. He didn't deserve what he got, man.
Yeah, he did. I can't say he didn't deserve what he got because I was saying we should bench him too, but
no, I know, but
we would have liked if they did it better.
Also he looked in the mirror because and assessed himself, man, and said, you know what, my game's not what, and I'm going on the craziest place in the world, Madison Square Garden, the Mecca, and anything I do, if I sneeze, everybody says God bless you. So everything I do is under a microscope or a magnifying glass. So. He made a chance, but he's a class act, man. And you hate to see nice people, treated that way. And I think that's part of what's going on with this team. That there was an element where I said to myself, they were better parting ways with Kemba, and whether we're buying him out or whatever. But every day, these guys in the clubhouse love him. And every day they come back, every day they come into the clubhouse and they see a friend that's being treated poorly in their eyes. And it's like salt in the wound every day, man.
Especially when you add that to the fact Obi's deserving of more minutes and not getting those minutes. Grimes deserving of more minutes, not getting more minutes. Yep. It'll add up.
Yeah.
Foxy, they did one better. I asked to get us over 200 likes and we shot straight to 213. So thank you guys for supporting. Greatly appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Foxy, we'll wrap it up here. I think it was a great show. I want to thank you for co-hosting with me. SV Nation, I want to thank you guys for co-hosting as well. You know, you guys are the third co-host and you help drive the show. So appreciate all you do. Foxy, any closing remarks?
Yeah, again, as we say in the hood, mazel tov on reaching the 5,000 subscribers. So 6,000, here we come. 1 million views, here we come. That's really a blink away. I can't wait for the show in the near future where we talk about hitting the million views milestone. So thank you, SV Nation. Hope everyone's getting into the Christmas spirit, into the Hanukkah spirit, the Kwanzaa spirit, whatever you know that you believe in. We greatly have a great respect for it. So please, hopefully this is part of your routine every Sunday at 8 p.m. You'll see us again next Sunday at 8. We can't wait to talk with you. Wednesday's the trading deadline, or the beginning of the trading season. So let's cross our fingers that maybe something we can make a couple of tweaks here or there. Hey, you know, we're sixth. You know, we're only, if we could guard the 3-point shot better, the defense will come around. So I think a couple of tweaks here or there, we can get back into our groove. And like I said, we had approximately the same record at this point last year, and we turned around. So let's think positive. Let's get our boys RJ and Obi back healthy. And with Jay Boogie's help and his new song that'll be out next Sunday, how can we go wrong?
Thank you. So thank you guys for tuning in. You know, we're here Knicks Sunday stream here on Sports Vibes TV, your destination for Knicks news, rumors, and analysis. I'm Keith. That's our guy, Stephen Fox. And until next time, peace.
Let's get it. Y'all be spitting with your flows, I'm just podcasting.
That's right.
On the air every day, I'm just podcasting.
What?
You don't know what that mean when I say I'm podcasting. I'm broadcasting these flows with the podcasting. Every day of my life, I'm just podcasting.
Right.
Share my dreams with you, me and I'm podcasting.
What?
You can see my vision through the podcasting.
Yeah.
But don't forget Jay Boogie when I'm broadcasting.
What?
I'm podcasting,
What?
he podcasting.
What?
I've been spitting this venom since Karate Flicks. When Mr. Sims was sharing nothing but the Knicks. I guess you know by now, I seen some tough years. Now I know the reason why Freezy got them blowing tears. Closest thing to the Reverend means I'm the deacon. Call up G-Mo just so he can talk the Legion. I'm squeezing, get my young ones to overstand. Some more advice, Ron Cleveland, Mr. Man. I guess y'all know I'm just podcasting, right? Y'all be spitting with your flows, I'm just podcasting.
That's right.
On the air every day, I'm just podcasting.
What?
You don't know what that mean when I say I'm podcasting. I'm broadcasting these flows with the podcasting. Every day of my life, I'm just podcasting.
Right.
Share my dreams with you, me and I'm podcasting.
What?
You can see my vision through the podcasting.
Yeah.
But don't forget Jay Boogie when I'm broadcasting.
What?
I'm podcasting,
What?
he podcasting.
What?
I know some haters and doubters, they wanna take the shine. Call up JL, he said, do it in a nick of time. I feel you young when the car drive, they wanna ride. If you ain't Keys, we don't share the same sports vibe. We different, in other words, we ain't alike. But young head Hadouken, he a Nick at night. No sleeping, we YouTubing through the daylight. That's what it is when you live inside that Nick life. That Nick life, that Nick life. Y'all be spitting with your flows, I'm just podcasting.
That's right.
On the air every day, I'm just podcasting.
What?
You don't know what that mean when I say I'm podcasting. I'm broadcasting these flows with the podcasting. Every day of my life, I'm just podcasting.
Right.
Share my dreams with you, me and I'm podcasting.
What?
You can see my vision through the podcasting.
Yeah.
But don't forget Jay Boogie when I'm broadcasting.
What?
I'm podcasting,
What?
he podcasting.
What?
My man CP said let's Nick fan the TV. From the podcast back to the MSG, the network, we breaking news here every day. Run the intro, that's CK, the 2K. The bills paid, Stephen Fox, he got a dog walk. We'll tell JD we need that new sport talk. I don't care about the Sixers if they falling off. I'm at the rim left-handed like John Starks. John Starks, what? John Starks. Shout out to all the podcasters doing their thing. If you listen and represent a podcast, hit the like button and smash them up. You know what I'm saying? They working hard for you and everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the First Lady, Miss Stephanie. Shout out to Ian Begley. Shout out to J Mac. Shout out to my man Tone Wu. Shout out to my man for the love of the game. And shout out for the pause and radio. And a special shout out to my man Entertainer. You know what I'm saying? Rocking them New York Giants. It is football season. I can't forget him, man. Peace, love, and happiness to everybody. Protect yourself, love yourself. You know what I'm saying? 3 capital S's. Salute, 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 man. Peace.